Grown Folks Production.
In the mix.
With the commish, Nate.
And just like that, welcome to Press Pass Live, Season 110. Maniac, we are finally here. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Looking forward to talking about the Season 110, man. We got some interesting stuff going on. Some of the guys I've seen there sending some questions in the mailbag, and man, it's just it's good to be back and rolling for this season, man.
I forgot to change our little call out button here, so I am fixing that right now. It is my church one right now, and that's not what we want, so we're going to go ahead and get that changed. Season 110 is upon us, and I am super excited to sort of start to unpack it. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you. Got my guy Maniac. I didn't even welcome him in. I just jumped head first because Maniac actually has a game at 4:30. My wife will kill me if I take too much longer. So we got a lot of things that we're balancing over here. Let me see if I can fix a little something real quick that I don't like. And is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So we're going to move this down here because my head's cut off, and well, nobody wants that. And then we're good here. Okay, that's just for the vertical. Okay, thanks for being in here. What's up, Kev? Hope your Monday's going well. My Monday has been crazy. I've got all kinds of things going on. So does Maniac. A lot of things. Maniac, you ready to unpack week number 1 and week number 2?
Let's do it, man.
Let's take a look at week number 1. Take it away.
All right, week number 1. Trying to keep the theme of things rolling, and instead of me bogging down and talking everybody's head off.
We both talk, so
minutes.
you're not alone in it. We're in that together.
There were some interesting games going on week 1. Try to give a little bit of a rundown. Baltimore beat Kansas City 27-3. That game was started, looked like twice. Looked like there were several games I think had some connection issues week 1. So
it's bad weather rolling through.
Yeah, right. Condors, man, 38-13 over the Texans. Condors are looking like they're going to be trying to go back to the playoffs. Atlanta 38-14 over the Saints. That game, just Madden gave me all the breaks in that game for sure.
Not true. He's a liar. Don't listen to him. He absolutely manhandled me and just blew the doors off.
The Cardinals 47 points against the new Dublin Black Knights. It was former Packers there with Priest. Man, those Cardinals got to roll in this game. The Seahawks 35 over Minnesota 13 there. This is the game I wanted to talk about here, the Chargers and Dolphins, so we'll come back to that one. Buffalo 45-29 over Jacksonville. San Antonio 38-24 over Tennessee, which that was a CPU Tennessee game, I believe. The Rams, this one was another game that was started several times. The first couple of times the Rams were kind of hanging real close to Cincinnati, even on this third restart, man. Cincinnati took it to them 41-21. Jets fall to the Giants in the Battle of the Big Apple 27-24. Man, those Giants, this was another one I started to talk about, but I went with the Chargers. San Francisco doing what he does, 41-21 over Detroit. The Raiders 33-32 over the Toronto Mounties. Man, this was a good game as well. New England 27-22 over the Washington Commanders. Great game as well. There's so many great games, man. We could probably spend 30 minutes just talking about all the great games of week 1. Carolina 38-31 over Tampa Bay. Dallas 18-7, which is kind of a shocker score here. The Philadelphia kept this a little closer than a lot of guys anticipated. And then Denver getting a 13-10 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Cincyburg jumping back up to those San Diego Chargers. I think I may have called them Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know. But it's 48-45 over the Miami Dolphins. Just kind of sneak a little peek in here at what went on in this game. Offensive yards gained for the Dolphins, 569 yards. Man, he was pouring it on with the yards, man. 353 for the Chargers. 187 rushing yards for the Chargers, 142 for the Dolphins. Passing yards, this is where it gets crazy one-sided. Chargers only 166. The Dolphins 427 yards with his rookie quarterback, and we'll talk about him here in a minute. Third down conversions, only one third down conversion for the Chargers, and that's really kind of crazy. I would think, you're looking at some of these, you would think that the Dolphins probably would have won this game, but the turnovers probably were a big implication of that, having 4 to only 2 for the Chargers. Time of possession, Dolphins just manhandled this game completely and probably should have won it, but let's get
35 first downs. That's nuts.
Yeah. That's insane. Mr. Joe Duke, man, is the most just bland name there is, Joe Duke.
Wide receiver Joe Duke, if we all remember correctly, until Nate found it and fixed it.
Yeah, he would have been the worst draft, but ends up being probably the best quarterback in the world. So 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 436 yards. He did have the interception bug, and that's probably what got the loss here for the Dolphins. He was sacked twice. Herbert had a efficient day, still had 189 yards, 1 touchdown, did throw 2 picks, and was sacked 3 times. Rushing, again, we've talked about this guy, Cam Akers. Probably most guys wouldn't have him buried on 3rd or 4th on their depth chart. This guy is a starter. He's a stud for the Chargers, and 12 carries, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 14 yards a carry. Man, he was just getting it done. Aiken here for the Dolphins, 15 for 74.
Achan.
Aiken?
Achan.
Okay. I could have swore it was Aiken, but
no, it's Achan.
15 for 74, 1 touchdown. Well, he was making the Chargers aching, I guess. So, Joe Duke putting some of his wide receiver abilities to use. 4 carries for 47 yards. So he was getting a little bit of scrambling done. Looking at the wide receivers, Colin, Fredrickson. This guy's been in the league for a couple seasons, but man, he was putting on a aerial show here with 6 receptions, 160 yards, and a touchdown. Waddle, kind of like the odd man out for the Dolphins, but man, he was the key here for the Dolphins' offensive firepower in the air attack with 9 catches, 125 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns, but man, he was spreading the ball around to his wide receivers, running back, his tight ends, so he was getting the ball spread around in that game. Looking at the defense, this kind of stood out here. Kalen Royal, linebacker from Texas A&M, had 13 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and then he had an interception. So definitely was kind of all over the field here for the Chargers. Probably one of the reasons why they were able to get the win, because he had that interception. I don't know when he had it, but it's definitely part of the piece that helped them get the victory. Jalen Ramsey, the old man, still doing it in the backfield. He had 8 tackles. Didn't do much of anything in the passing game though, but he was probably locking down that side of the field. But man, looking at this game, just so many look like big plays, especially for the Chargers in the running game. Toting that rock with Cam Akers, but you gotta give the Dolphins though, and the future of Joe Duke a look, because definitely has a big bright future in the OMFL.
Absolutely, and I'm making a quick little, is that what I want to say? Making a little change here as we are adding some graphics here to what we're doing. Always trying to up our game here and do some more stuff. I do laugh at my buddy who told me, hey, I got a game here pretty soon, so I can't mess around very long. And then he broke down every single game in week number 1. I'm just kidding. Just giving him a hard time. All right. That was a really, really good game. And there was a lot of really good games. I think we're going to talk about a lot of those in our prediction show here today, as I sort of add a little graphic here to what we're doing on the vertical stream as well. Okay, I think we got it as we want. Let's talk about week number 2 after looking at some of those games. Week number 2 was not as action-packed because we just got there like 12 hours ago or whatever it was. I don't know. Maybe it's been 24 hours already. Orlando and New England playing to a close one, but I got to talk about this one that absolutely caught my attention. Dallas barely getting a win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kevin was already beating himself up going into this. He's going to play Dwayne. I'm never going to win. Blah, blah. I'm like, you're a 14-win team season every single season. Like, shut up. I don't want to hear it. He actually outgained Dallas 420 to 327, mostly in the passing game where Dwayne is going to be really nitpicky about how he's throwing that ball. 192 rushing yards for Dallas, only 132 passing yards, only one turnover in this entire game, as this one came down to the very wire of who was going to pull this one out. Ryder, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Fields, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but 78% completion percentage. And in a close game like this, that would absolutely drive me absolutely batty. I would just want to lose my mind as I'm looking at the attempts. Oh, 11 for 14. Wayne, 1 off. You got to pass the ball one more time, D. Wayne. We got to get everybody back into this 15-15. It was for that reason because, well, it comes down to the very end and guys don't want to pass the ball. Kickoff return touchdown with 20 seconds left to win it, Kevin. You can't kick it to that guy, man. You got to get it out of bounds. Tony Pollard, 14 for 92, 2 touchdowns on the day. Pollard and Rhett both over 100 yards for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then looking at that defense, which they are known for having in Dallas, second and a half for Parsons, 1 for White, 1 for Clark, 1 for Jack, 1 for Clancy. So they were really getting after the quarterback and making things happen. And then the 1 interception from Israel, the strong safety for the Dallas Cowboys. And they come away with a key victory in an early season, really tight matchup between 2 very good teams in the NFC. Now let's take a look at, I can't use words. I don't know why they're not coming out of my face the way I want them to. Let's take a look at week number 3. What are we watching for, Mr. Maniac? No, it's me. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm doing 3. You're doing 4.
Okay.
This one's going to be really, really good. I don't know what to expect from the Jaguars. I know the Condors feel like they are on a bit of a mission. I still believe in Pepper and what he can do. If he's engaged, that should be a really, really good game. Ravens, Desperados, that's going to be great. 2 teams that want to find their way all the way to OMFL Bowl number 111, or no, 110, be 110. I think those 2 teams are going to come down to the very, very end. What are some other games kind of catching my eye? 49ers and Cardinals. 49ers still getting it done this season. Cardinals, they're trying to show that they are here to compete. They have a really good team. That's going to be a pivotal matchup early in this season. Chargers and Commanders should be a really good one. Cowboys and Giants has my intrigue, especially what the Giants have done here recently against Kobe and the New York Jets. Can he make that happen against the Dallas Cowboys? Dolphins and Panthers, that's going to be a really good one. And those are my matchups for week number 3. Maniac, take a look at week number 4.
Week number 4, let's spend another 10 minutes, shall we, for my segment notes. No, I think it's interesting you said about the Giants. The Giants and Eagles both seem to have kind of maybe figured some things out. The Eagles definitely on defense held Dwayne to 18 points. So the Giants and Eagles game could be an intriguing one. Cowboys, Panthers, both these guys been perennial playoff teams on the NFC side this Madden, so it'll be a good matchup. Steelers, Ravens. We've got Mr. Nipple and Cincy Berg. Man, those guys both always seem to have really great games to watch if you ever get a chance to watch those guys. Here's one that's a new one. Tim and the Lions versus Nysonger. It's his buddy, their work buddy. So this will be the first time they'll match up in the OMFL against each other, I believe. So this should be a fun one to watch, especially since the Rams did defeat the Cardinals, I think, week 2. So this will be a
and
good
he
one to
gave
watch
Denbrew all Denbrew wanted in week number 1.
Yeah. The Texans, Dolphins. Roger seemed to get things going last season, kind of stumbled out of the gate so far. Let's see if he can get back, and this would be a good game. I think both these guys like to air it out, so this game could be like a 50 burger on both sides if things go the right way for both offenses. Vikings, Broncos, both these guys have played well. Mike Fleury, I think, kind of hates this game as bad as any other guy that hates the game right now.
Just say it, Maniac. As bad as Nate.
Well, it come across my mind, but I don't want to throw my butt. But anyway, no, it's. I know he's voiced his concerns about the game, so this one might be a good one though, because both guys, from watching them stuff, I think they do kind of match up well. And the last one I'll touch on right now, Seahawks Cardinals. This game has the makings of being a very, very good game, and I think it's going to be one that you're going to want to tune into.
That's a look at week number 4. Let's take a quick look at week number 5. Dolphins Bills. I want to see what the Bills have going here early in the season. Dolphins definitely putting up a lot of points, but if you keep turning the ball over like that, it's going to be hard to win some games. Hopefully the Titans are back by then. I just want to see what the Titans have here, and that's going to be a big matchup. Titans Jets early in this season. Rams and Vikings. Since he said it here in the chat, the Vikings are sneaky good. The Rams are sneaky good. They impress me with what they've got going on. So Rams and Vikings could be a really, really good game. Patriots and Giants. Patriots seem to have some things figured out. They're trying to get themselves rolling in the AFC. The Giants and Colin have built a powerhouse there in the NFC, and I think that's going to be a really good game. Bucks and Panthers get to match up once again. Ravens and Chargers, that's going to be a really, really fun one. Desperados and Cardinals. And then a matchup I think we're all going to be talking about, Seahawks 49ers. Those guys just went neck and neck all last season, had a great game in the playoffs where there's very little offense going for both of these teams. So let's see what happens in a early week 5 matchup. Commanders and Cowboys could be really good, and Chiefs Steelers could be a really good one. And that's a look at what's coming in weeks 3, 4, and 5. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Denbrew for some OMFL news, but when we come back, we're going to pick some off-season winners that Maniac and I both have identified. Then we're going to get into the heart of the issue, and that is some predictions. Mr. Denbrew, take it away, sir.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Denbrew, and this is your OMFL news. We are in season 110. Can you believe that? 110 seasons of the OMFL. Week number 2. But before we get too far down the road, I wanted to give some congratulations out to all of the playoff teams, and especially to the Ravens and Nips for representing the AFC, and to D-Money and his 49ers for representing the NFC and OMFL Bowl 109. Great season. Both of these guys, great run through the playoffs, and congratulations to the 49ers and D-Money for winning the OMFL championship. All right. Just wrapped up the offseason. Some decent
slapping
names
cheeks
I thought were
over
out
there.
there in free agency for once. Some decent high-profile players. There was a couple of corners that were up high. They were a little old, but they were still really good corners out there. Some decent offense and defensive linemen were to be had that was out there. So pretty good crop of free agents. And then we had the draft, right? And the draft show. Those guys on the draft show. Always entertaining, and I gotta say, I love the manual clock that we sped up in the later rounds, kept the draft moving. It just it seemed like that's the way to go. Maybe that can stick around for a while. Anywho, last season of the cycle. If you haven't done so, get in your fantasy team in. I think there's still time for that. You can partake in the gold sheet and the pick'em. And let's make season 110 a memorable one, a competitive one. It's the last season of the cycle, and let's get after it. All right, that's a wrap. Segment 1. Back to Nate and Maniac. See ya.
Thank you, Mr. Denbrew. Appreciate you as always, my buddy. Now we're going to get into some predictions, but before we do, we want to talk about teams that we feel like had a really solid, strong offseason. 1 or 2 different winners. Maniac, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you have first crack at this.
Nah, that's probably a good thing because I could probably list like 6 different teams now. I do have my top ones, and I think um, I would give a look at. I think the Panthers could be one, but the one that I'm going to talk about is the Giants. Just looking at what he did in the off season and with the draft, he was able to pick up a couple of players in the off season to complement his defense. You see his defense, I think, has really stepped up and is becoming a force in this season. Looking through his roster right now, he did pick up Devin Duvernay for the offensive side, another guy that was I traded for, but I wasn't able to hold on to. This guy's got speed, and he's able to get a lot done from the slot. I know he gave you nightmares when he was with the Falcons for a couple seasons, so definitely a good guy there for him to pick up there. To help him out. He did pick up a couple of new offensive linemen as well, and I think that's helping his offensive side of the ball. Some of the guys that he's drafted really well the last couple of seasons, we're seeing guys really step up, and I think now taking a little bit more of an active role on his team. Looking at particularly his linebacker, and this guy always sticks with me just because of the name, Damian Wayne. I think it's just a D Wayne. A throwback or whatever, because he's also in the same division. But man, this guy is a 94 overall. He's been in the league for 3 years, but he's 89 speed, 93 acceleration, and he's just been getting the job done so far this season. He's actually leading his team right now, 11 tackles. He's not got much of anything else, but I mean, he's just flying around the ball, making plays. And I think you look at this team and you already see that the Giants have come out and starting to establish themselves a little bit as possible being a contender to Dwayne. So I think you're going to see these Giants step up and be a factor.
I love the Giants pick. I think the Giants could also get just like a all season of Madden 24 rating. Like he has just built solid offseason after solid offseason and really now has that team rocking and rolling. There were a variety of different teams that I could have picked from. The Giants are right there at the tippy top. I would go with the Bengals. I am not going to sit here and say that I have all of these teams full offseason sort of memorized, but Bengals went, signed a defensive tackle. I went after a big, solid playmaker there at defensive tackle, which gives him some flexibility on that defensive line, which will allow him hopefully to bring more pressure, to be able to play a little bit more on the back end, get some more turnovers. A team that had another really solid draft, was able to add some pieces to a team that's already putting up a ton of points. I mean, we're 2 weeks into the season. He's got 82 points for him. I think that's going to put him towards the top, if not the top. Yeah, tied with the top of the league. And then he's only given up 30-something points, which is going to put him, where's that put him? It's going to put him like 14th, 15th, 35 points, which is like just a couple points from the tippy top. I mean, Ravens, they've only played one game. A lot of these teams have only played one game. I love what Denbrew and the Bengals have done, and I think by far they had one of the best off seasons in season number one or off season number 110. Any other teams you think would be out there?
I'm gonna give a shout out to the Rams taking over that team that they took over. Everybody almost avoided this team like it was the Black Plague. One, because it seemed like the roster was really kind of bad, and then on top of that, you're in the league with or the same division of D Money, Meek Boy, and then you got throw in Joker. That is like playing Russian roulette with a loaded pistol. So it's not much of anything to duck and dive from that one. And but man, he's coming in and he started in the late last season, had a good free agency, picked up some guys to help his roster, and then he goes out and just has a spectacular draft as well for his first draft in the OMFL. He picked up, and the player I wanted to highlight here was Dylan Marshall. That was the number one overall pick He wasn't the number one overall. I'm getting my tongue twisted so bad.
Welcome to
Overall,
my world.
overall guy from the draft, but so far he has made a tremendous impact. He had 2 interceptions and an
He's a
interception
stud.
return for a touchdown versus the Cardinals. So he just kind of single-handedly kind of took away those Cardinals wide receivers, and then just looking at that roster, man, he's built it up that quick, and I just got to give him a little bit of props, man. I know he's the new kid on the block, but great job there, Nicelonger.
There's a lot of teams, like I said, we could talk about, so don't get angry at us because we left you out. We cannot have a 2-hour show today. But I would also mention the Broncos. Not a ton in free agency, some little moves from what I remember. Or maybe there's something I just missed out there, but solid additions to his team. And then I think had a really, really good draft, a really solid draft, which I think might have been a CPU if I remember correctly, but a solid overall draft. It's already starting to pay some dividends. He's only played 1 game, only gave up 10 points, playing really great defense. I think the problem with the Broncos has always been the quarterback play, and if he can get some solid quarterback play, that team's going to play much, much better. And I think he's going to be a team. I don't know if he'll contend. We'll talk about that, but I think he's definitely going to be a team that's going to make teams earn it a little bit more this year, which segues us right into where we need to be to do some predictions. Let's see if this doesn't take us 18 days to get through. AFC North, good to see you, Bird. Good to see you, Bill. Of course, Kevin and Cincy, you already in here. Appreciate you guys. Kevin's ranting about having to pay taxes on a lotto that he didn't even win. AFC North, you got Bengals, Ravens, Desperados, and Steelers. I'm still scratching my head about the Steelers. It's such that great season 2 seasons ago. Fell off last year after we went back to all pro. And I don't know. Since he's a great player, I don't know what the sticky point is there for him. But what do I know? I'm freaking one of the worst teams this entire cycle. So I feel like I don't have an opinion at all about anyone. I should just say nothing at all. Bengals, Ravens, Desperados, though, 3 teams that battled it to the very end. And we seen the Ravens, right, get all the way there to the very, very end. Just sort of let it go. He even had D-Money on the ropes early in that game, in the bowl game. Let it get away from him. I still like what we seen last year. The Bengals have sort of fell off in the playoffs. They haven't quite played the type of football we know that they are used to playing. I think he got better. I think they will win this division. I know Ravens, Desperados, they're going to earn some wild card spots just like they did last season. Give me the Bengals to win this division. Who do you have?
Yeah, I have to say those are good predictions. Looking at already, I know there's a little bit of adjustment with the new season, but man, the Desperados was shocking to me. They've given up 65 points already on the season, and that's really tough. You know, they've got a solid defense, and you'd think that they were on paper. I'm not sure what he lost in the offseason, but man, 65 points in the first 2 games. That's rough. And you look at the Ravens. He's 27 points for, 3 points against. I really just see the Ravens again kind of catapulting himself into this season. But he's already said that he's going to go on some cruises this season and may not be as plugged in. So
he's going to be plugged in, just not into the OMFL.
Yeah.
Some senoritas.
Yeah, he's going to be sticking his finger in a light socket somewhere. But you know, if he's able somehow to maneuver, I really think the Ravens have the best opportunity to win the division again. But again, Denbrew, I've picked you, man. I've picked you to win the OMFL Bowl or go to the OMFL, and you keep letting me down, man. I'm gonna have to pull it together. But I think it's really gonna be a two-team race here between the Ravens and the Bengals, and just for the simple fact that the Ravens are going to be possibly on a cruise somewhere. Give me the Bengals. But, man, it should be interesting. And these guys, Desperados and Steelers, they'll make it interesting, I'm sure.
AFC South, talk about an unplugged division. Condors, Jaguars, Titans, Texans. Our buddy Raj, who I love so much, he's about to go under the knife again. He's just not physically going to be able to be around for probably a large portion of the season. Titans have been on a long, awesome vacation for quite some time, and I think is still gone for some time. Wasn't here for the entire offseason. I have no clue what his team looks like. And then Pepper built a brand new house this year. I think that has taken a large portion of his time, energy, and effort, work, all the normal life things. It feels like Bronco Man's the only guy fully engaged with this team, fully engaged, out on a mission. He embarrassed me in the preseason, had me all up in my feelings, just like proving a point that he was a much better Madden player than I am. Condors all the way. I think none of these other teams even compete just because of the situations.
Yeah, I was. my thought was going through my head when you were talking about it, is like, this is probably going to be the most cakewalk division, unfortunately, for the Condors, because like I said, Texans. Roger, bless his heart, man, he's dealing with so much, and I don't know what's going on with Penguins. I think he's touring the right now. He's on tour. So, and then the Jaguars, like you said, with Pepper, who knows what's going to happen if he'll be able to plug in. But man, I think it's going to be a cakewalk. Condors all the way, man. They're going to be eating the division cake and having the caps out for the division title probably week 10.
I agree with you. AFC East, this one's going to be tough. Jets and Mr. Kobe, Patriots and Mr. Lost, Bills and Big Hurt, and the Dolphins and Massimo. A tough division to wrap my head around. The Dolphins, such a powerful offense. Still, again, rookie quarterback turning the ball over. It's led him to 0-2. Big Hurt's already said, I ain't never around because of baseball, but yet he's sitting here at 1-0, scoring 45 points in week number 1. Lost always seems to be like right there on the cusp of competing. He did put up 50 points already, but he's given up 63 points this season to find himself at 1-1. And then Kobe, who's always sort of the powerhouse around here, he finds himself at 1-1 after a big loss in week number 1 to the Giants. So this one's sort of tough to call. I want to sort of lean towards the Bills, but Kobe has been really consistent season after season after season, losing 1 to 3 games, usually closer to the 1 than closer to the 3. Give me the Jets to win this division. Patriots, Bills are going to compete. Dolphins, I think you're going to see them turn it on late in the season. Rookie quarterbacks can be tough.
Yeah, the rookie quarterback's going to be tough for the Dolphins, and I really think like he's kind of, I don't know if you would say just like regulating himself just to be like, okay, I'm planning for the future here, and I don't care what happens this season, but that may be also kind of a train of thought too, because he's going to have his import quarterback, and and that may kind of play in a part. He's just trying to get as many points on this guy going into the next Madden. The Bills, I really like. My head tells me that the Bills are going to be the champions here, but my heart says the Patriots may be one that's going to be like in the mix of things. All 3 of those teams that you're looking at that are below the Bills right now have not played great defense so far. They've all given up 63 points by the Patriots, 86 by the Dolphins, 51 by the Jets. The Jets one really surprised me though, because the type of players he has on his defense, I just figured that those guys would be dominating, and maybe it's just the new season and some changes have happened and take him a little bit. I think I'm going to go with a smart pick though. I'm going to go with the Jets, but I do think, man, I think this is the season that we see the Patriots kind of get up there and start causing some havoc in that top of that division.
I hope so, man. Lost is such an awesome dude. AFC West, you got Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs. That's Shocks, Black Cats. I don't know what he goes by right now. Jay Glaze and Jay Bowles. So This one is always going to be the story of the quarterbacks. Which quarterbacks can play the best? And the shocker for me early in the season is the Chiefs only scoring 3 points in week number 1. Chargers, Mr. Consistency here for quite some time. Broncos and Raiders starting out their season hot, 1-0 each of them. I think the Raiders are going to be competing more this season. Broncos, I don't know, still big question mark. I think they took some steps in the right direction. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this division. Chiefs are going to make them earn it. I know they're 0-1. That's just the way Shocks is sometimes. Starts out slow, gets it rolling. Give me the Chargers to win this division, but this should be just a funner division this season than it has in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. I think the Chargers are kind of the next step ahead of everybody else right now. And I think in this game, if I remember right, I believe he was down, or maybe he was way up, and then I think he played the Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins came back, took the lead, and then he had to kind of like reclaim the lead late on in the game and stuff. So, but I do think the Chargers, what's helping him, he has such a dynamic run game. And I believe the Raiders also are another team that seem to have a dynamic run game that play a lot of play action pass off of the run, and so I think that could be something that helps these two teams possibly be 1-2. Broncos and Chiefs. I hate seeing that the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes only put up 3 points, but maybe he'll get things turned around and get up into the thick of things here. But give me the Chargers, and I think the Raiders are going to be nipping on the heels, man.
All right, you're going to start the NFC. So I started the AFC. This one's over to you. NFC North, we got the Black Knights, formerly known as the Packers. This one was so knee-jerky that Bill was like, tell nobody they can move ever again. So we'll discuss that for next Madden. Trey and his Lions, our guy... oh my goodness, I just drew a full blank. Who's with the Vikings? Mike Fleury. Jeez, I'm sorry, Fleury. It was like right there. I just couldn't grab it. Fleury with the Vikings. And our buddy Bill with the Mounties. 0-2. That one's a bit surprising. 0-2 for the Vikings. 0-1 for the Lions. Black Knights, your division leader early in this one at 1-1. How do you see the NFC North?
Bill, you ran to the Mounties, man. And you said you're going to run this division like the mob, man. And here you are, 0-2. What's going on, buddy? We got to get this ship going because you're falling into that NFC North hex or whatever is going on that nobody wants to win this division. So,
hey, real quick, Maniac. Can I just say how ugly this logo is? They have great jerseys. This is the world's ugliest logo. This is terrible.
It is. It is the worst. And I don't know. It just it don't even look like a horse. But to be honest, it looks like they're riding a deer or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But I will agree with you 100%. Mounties are 32 on the list of logos and probably 33 if you had to rate them. So, but man, again, here we got 3 teams. And most of these guys have all played their second game already, and we've got 3 teams with 0 wins in this division. This division is cursed, man. I don't know what it is.
I don't either, brother.
Bill left the Commanders with hopes and dreams of just running this thing and not having any issues. And man, here we are. We find him 0-2. Also, they had to face D-Money first 2
That's
games.
Fair.
So is a fair stake too, but just for entertainment purposes, Bill, you're 0-2. Straighten it up, man. Let's get it rolling. Black Knights, Priest. I think he's kind of found himself. He's kind of maybe replugged in, but he seems like he's ready to go with these Dublin Black Knights, and that logo is not too bad. So
no, I like it.
I'll give him a thumbs up for that. And but yeah, man, if I had to pick though,
you got to pick.
It's I'm saying to myself, Bill, but man, if the Packers don't turn the ball over, and I know he's got his new quarterback Rex Manning Jr., and he's been playing the ball with him and stuff. So this could be a surprise shocker with the Black Knights coming out on top in this division. So I think it really comes down. It's going to be between these two teams, Mounties and Black Knights. So Bill, I'm picking you, but man, you're gonna have to get something turned on here, man, because these Black Knights are going to run you to the very end. I think in the season.
I don't know what to say. Again, the caveat, y'all, is I have to have an opinion because I'm the commissioner and I've been doing this show for 350 plus shows. So I have to have an opinion. I can't just be here on camera without an opinion. And I get that my opinion sucks because I suck as a Madden player this cycle. That's decided. We understand. Sorry if you don't like my opinion because I'm a sucky Madden player. Not only good Madden players get to have opinions. I don't know what to think about this division. No clue. Flip a coin. It ain't the Black Knights, in my opinion. I just got to disagree with my buddy over here. He's forgot more football than I've ever learned, but the Black Knights have so much more to show me before I ever pick Priest. I don't know. Priest is the most lovable character I think you'll ever meet, and also the most like I don't even know how to explain it because any word I would use would come off being like unsincere and mean, and that's not. Neither of those. He is a lovable guy. And also, I think could care less about actually winning. And that's fine. You don't have to care about winning to play here. But I just think if you're going to win at a high level in the OMFL, you got to care. You got to focus. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I have no clue who to pick. I would say Mounties, like you. We both called it. We're like, he's going to run this division. It's going to be a sleepwalk just like the Condors. That is not what's happening. New team. He's going to get that defense figured out. 74 points for him. I get it. He played the 49ers. That is not the way that Bill plays football. He's got to get that figured out. He's got some key players over there. Maybe it's just that ugly logo that he should have changed. Also, Vikings at 0-2. Trey, listen to me. I'm sorry. Tim at 0-1. He did play the 49ers. To his benefit, he did put up 21 points in the 49ers. He still lost by 20, but that's better than losing by 40 and putting up 3 points. So, a gun to my head, I'm picking Mounties, but man, I look stupid right now. So, Bill, you got to prove me wrong. Maybe it's a fun division. Maybe we don't have a division winner from here that has a winning record again. I don't know. NFC South, you and your Falcons, Bird and his Panthers, me and my Aints, and then Kevin and his Buccaneers. I know he's 0-2, guys, but he's played two of the better teams in this entire league. So, take that with a grain of salt. How do you see this one playing out, Maniac?
Yeah, our division's a tough one. You got the Panthers last season. Looked like he was done for at week number 6, and all of a sudden he just goes on a run and wins 6 games straight, 7 games straight, I think, or something like that, and gets in the playoffs. The Buccaneers, man, Kev, there is no doubt in my mind he's going to get things turned around because he is an offensive guru. With that quarterback and those wide receivers, and then he goes in the draft and he gets another top 5 wide receiver out of the draft with speed, and it just he just kind of builds that offense and just keeps that offense growing. And then your Saints, man, I know you struggled the week 1 against me and stuff, but again, you're trying to find out, your beast of a wide receiver that you got. You're kind of a new toy. You're trying to get him implemented and go, and so that sometimes that can also be a detriment to you as well, because maybe you try to force feed one guy a little bit too much, just trying to figure them out. I've done that before. My Falcons, the thing that surprised me, one, I had no absolute cap whatsoever. I did not have any space to sign any free agents, and so I had to trade away all my top picks, get a bunch of a lower end picks, and man, I just really had a great draft, and that's really kind of helped my team and into this part of the season so far. It may fall apart, but man, I'm proud of what I did with that cap space because I was kind of worried, man. I didn't know if I was going to have a teammate.
Kind of worried. You're trying to make me change the rules so you could compete. I'm like, what do you mean? You figured it out, man. You're so much better than you give yourself credit for.
But if I have to pick somebody right now, I have to go with the Panthers. I do think that they're what he added with free agency, and then also had a really good draft as well. And in fact, if you look at all of our teams, I think all of our teams really had a solid draft. Probably all 4 of our teams had a top 10 draft out of this draft, and I think that really helped our division. And I think really, though, the Panthers, with what they did in free agency along with the draft, I think they're going to be the ones to really watch here, and they're going to come away with the division. I think we're going to have a stalemate for number 2, number 3, and possibly even number 4. It may be one of those divisions where we have all 4 teams with 10-plus wins. So, but give me the Panthers, though.
My guy is faking this with me as I ain't won 10 games combined this entire cycle. I ain't winning 5 this season if I even get there. Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, they'll be fun. Bucks have a really tough schedule. They've had a tough go at it. He'll get things turned around. Your Falcons, I don't love that Parker Colt got hurt in our game, but you did play really well. The second guy, I just don't think the second guy is going to win you a ton of games. If you play really efficiently, he'll win you some. Parker Colt's the guy, and I hope that when he comes back, he gets another opportunity. I'm picking the Panthers for one reason and one reason only. If Parker Colt doesn't get hurt, I'm picking the Falcons. I'm only picking the Panthers because I think he's got the most confidence out of all 4 of us combined. Bird is more confident than all of us combined. So I like the Panthers to win this one. Falcons and Buccaneers are going to battle it to the very, very end. My Saints will not win 3 games this season. NFC East, Cowboys and Dwayne, Giants and Mr. Colin, Eagles and Twinkie, Commanders and our new guy Shiloh. Is it Shiloh?
Shiloh.
Okay. That's the NFC East. Turning it over to you. Who's going to win this one?
I think this one's going to be a lot closer than we've seen in previous season, even with Bill running the Commanders and that defense that he had going last season gave Dwayne a little bit of a run. But man, those Cowboys, he just got so much firepower on offense, and that one wide receiver that he's got, number 9, I can't think of his name right now, but man, he is so good. He is an offensive weapon. A streak, and he gets matched up to the right guy, it's gone. It's going to him. It's a touchdown. Crossing route, it's a touchdown.
Ben.
But where he is the best, and if he gets his hands on the ball on a kickoff, it's over. It's a return for a touchdown. So kick it out of bounds. I don't care if there's like 2 seconds left or whatever, or 3 seconds left. Kick it out of bounds, give it the ball on the 40, and let him heave it up for a Hail Mary chance or whatever. But don't let that guy return the ball, because he will get a touchdown. But man, the Giants, I think, are going to be just snipping on his heels the whole time, and it could possibly take and split the series. But man, I can't go against Dwayne.
Colin has been intriguing for multiple seasons for me. I feel like he has just quietly started to build a bit of a powerhouse over there. Cowboys are what they are. Like, there's no reason to even keep talking about him. He is crazy efficient. Not going to put the ball in harm's way. Dwayne, if you watch this, you came up one pass short. You got to hit that minimum. That rule was made with teams that in the playoffs, we all seen the teams that won. They stopped throwing the ball, they started running it, eating the clock, not putting it in harm's way. We got to pass the ball a little bit more, figure it out. But Dwayne does not put it in harm's way. That's always going to lead him to get more victories. Where the issue comes is in the playoffs when you got to score just a little bit more. I love Twinkie and the Eagles. I feel like he always finds momentum, and he just like can't quite put it all together. I have no clue what to think about Shiloh Bad in the Commanders. Shiloh is a world traveler with his job and stuff. I just don't know the guy very well, and so I just don't know what to expect from that Commanders team. I think the Giants will make the Cowboys earn it, but until somebody knocks the king off of his throne, you got to keep picking the Cowboys to win this division, and that's what we're doing is just division winners, and so give me the Cowboys. NFC West, 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. We got D-Money, nice singer, sorry if I'm messing it up, I probably am, with the Rams, Meek and the Seahawks, and then Joker and the Cardinals. A lot of big personalities in this division here. Who do you see winning it, and why is it the 49ers?
Well, D-Money does what D-Money do. He likes to run the rock, and man, I don't know how he does it with Isaiah Pacheco, man, but he is just
Freaking shocks.
What?
Shocks with the giving freaking Pacheco away.
Oh, yeah. He's been with the 49ers so long, I almost forgot he was with the Chiefs. Man, we're going to have to, like, lock down Shocks fan, next Madden, no Pacheco trade, it's a banned player. But, man, I don't know. D-Money he is such a team builder, man. He puts a lot of stock in those cornerbacks, and you look at his roster, man. His seventh or sixth cornerback could probably be most teams' number one cornerback. So his defense just shuts down, and then he just controls the clock with Pacheco and throws those little routes, and he's just very efficient with the ball. And you got to really force him to make mistakes. We saw in the OMFL Bowl. The Ravens made him make a mistake and had the opportunity to put him down a few scores, but just wasn't able to overtake him. But I mean, it's just the 49ers, man, and he's done such a great job building that roster, and it's just, you can't pick against the king until someone dethrones him. And we've seen the Seahawks play him really well. We've seen him blow him out one game. The only loss the 49ers had last season was a blowout loss to the Seahawks, and then after that just went on a run undefeated after that game. And Joker and the Cardinals, we've seen him have some success, but then one game he'll be dominant, the next game he'll be he'll lose by 20. It just he's just kind of inconsistent right now, but you just can't pick against the king, like I said, until somebody dethrones him. But man, I'm impressed with the Rams. They've done such a good job with the roster build, like I said. Nysonger, he definitely deserves a little credit again, and I think maybe he might be in the thick of things for the third spot in this division. I don't think he's going to get past the Seahawks or the 49ers, but man, if the Seahawks can take this division, I'll be shocked, and I'll eat my hat.
Careful with that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just careful with that. Rams, you have my attention. Really good game against Denver. He is a top 5 owner in this league. Joker, paying attention. You've got some nice momentum going here. You're putting up crazy offensive numbers. A few things to figure out on defense, but I think you are going to be competing and even making some noise once we get to the playoffs. Seahawks, Meek, you're a top 3-4 owner, competitive owner here in the league. I'd love to see some more of these competitive owners be a bit more engaged in the league as a whole, a little more active in the chat. I'm not going to lie. There's a specific league that when your stuff pops up in my chat, it drives me absolutely batty, but you are a top 4, top 3, top 2 competitive owner in this league, and you 100% can win this division. But when a guy loses one game and blows out the bowl game and rolls into this season 2-0, only getting stronger, there's no way you can pick against him. 49ers are going to win this division. Way too early bold prediction. Who do you have, Maniac? Who is in it and who wins it?
I'll go with my faithful picks and see if it comes to pass. We'll go with the Cowboys versus the Bengals.
Who wins it? With D-Money or with nipples, which I don't think is going to happen. Mr. Denbrew, let's take it away for OMFL News number 2. And then when we come back, we're going to open up the OMFL mailbag. Take it away, Denbrew.
All right, I'm back. Segment 2. Not a lot to cover, so I thought I would throw a little something new at us, maybe a little on this day in sports history. For segment 2, Babe Ruth hit his first home run back in 1915 for the Boston Red Sox. I believe Roger was at that game, so that was pretty cool. Roger got to see that. Side note,
Dang.
Babe Ruth, not only did it his first home run, but he also pitched 12 innings that day in a 4-3 extra innings loss to those damn Yankees. What else? Back in 1991, I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, Phillies center fielder Lenny Dykstra, if I remember right. Yeah, he wrapped his Mercedes around a couple of trees back in 1991. He had one of his teammates with him, and I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, he ended up getting in some trouble for that one. I think he may have been on some illegal substance. And then what else? Kerry Wood, pitcher for the Cubs, struck out 20 in 1998. He gave
Against
up
my
one
Astros.
hit that day in just his 5th career start. I believe he tied Roger Clemens back then. I don't know if anybody's broke that record or not since then, but yeah, that was a record. Most strikeouts in a 9-inning ball game was 20. Anyway, quick brews and booze. My brew of the week is for the folks that take care of the incentives, that go in there and update our players with the new XP, that go in there and do the prevention, or they do the dev upgrades for us. Tedious task and much appreciated. And then also another brew is for Nate and all of his cool graphics that he creates for us all throughout the season, but in particular for the OMFL Bowl, for the record holders, for the Pro Bowl, that kind of stuff. And then my lone boo of the week is to myself for not having Mystic Dan on any of my tickets for the Derby and not listening to my buddy. He cashed big time. He had winning trifecta tickets. He won over 30 grand on the superfecta, and I ignored his advice for having Mystic Dan in there. And I will let myself forget that for quite a while. That's it for the news. Thanks for listening. Back to Nate. Back to Maniac.
Oh, that hurts. I hurt for you, Denbrew. That's that's not fun at all. All right, let's open up the mailbag. Let's get over here with just us. We got the chat rolling along. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you. Colin, do you think no abilities will lead to more parity? I'm going to take this one first because this was your rule suggestion. I voted against it. I do not. I don't think they're that powerful. I don't think they're that important. I think they make very little difference, unlike the momentum that we turn off, but is still actually active in the background. But you, clearly, Maniac, don't agree with that and do think it'll lead to some more parity.
I do. I just think that looking at some of the, especially with the quarterback, I think the quarterback abilities, I think, are where you're going to see the majority of the difference. Now, a lot of these guys are highly rated, and so they may not have as big a fall off as. But I think where you're going to see is like some of the middle tier quarterbacks that had some of the abilities were able to have the sideline, dead eye, all that stuff like that. I think a lot of that stuff makes a difference. So I do think it'll be
someone
a little bit of
that
parity. I
had
don't think
sideline dead eye.
Yeah.
That one made me chuckle when you said it.
Yeah. But I think that'll be the biggest area. I think you'll see parity, a little bit more parity and stuff, and possibly defensive lineman maybe. I don't know. I know I had more pressure from my defensive line than I've had probably in 2 seasons, and most of my guys didn't have any kind of ability. So I don't know if some quarterback abilities help offensive lines block those abilities. I don't know exactly how that stuff works together, but I'm looking and kind of keeping tabs on see what's happening. I know there's been a couple games where quarterbacks had a passer rating like 74 or 75 overall, but percent, but maybe that was just a thing. But anyway, I think there will be a little bit, but it may not be as big as I had hoped.
Bird says, and I do think Maniac's probably more right than I am right on this one. I just have not built a good team. Anyway, I almost went off on a rant. When you have to rebuild your offensive lines and defensive lines in Madden 24 and you have no cap like I did with my Saints, good luck, because you better go out and make a bunch of trades and do a bunch of things, and I didn't do anything right. Bird says, out of the first round rookies, which 3 offense and which 3 defensive players do you predict to be in the running for offensive and defensive rookie of the year? Poof, that's a tough one, Bird. I have no clue because I did not get to study y'all's questions that came in 20 minutes before we actually went live. Actually, like 15 minutes before we went live. Offense is always going to be quarterbacks first. Quarterbacks and running backs. I will say, in my opinion, though, this year, I think you're going to see one of these receivers win. These receivers are crazy good. And I think you're going to see one of these rookie wide receivers win. Let's see if we can get over here to NFL. Passing, you got Joe Duke that's up here. Any other of these quarterbacks? We've only played 2 games. You got Rex Manning Jr. I think he's going to put up crazy stats with crazy interception numbers. They're going to probably keep him from actually sort of being in the running. Trying to just give you some ideas. You may already have these Maniacs, so you can just tell me to shut up that you were prepared to answer this one. That's it for quarterbacks.
I think you're right. I think the quarterback that you're going to probably look at that's going to have the best opportunity is Joe Duke, because the type of team he has built around him with the wide receivers, I think he's going to have the best opportunity. And I think you're spot on about Rex Manning. I think he's going to have, tremendous numbers, but he's going to have also the bloated interception number because he's just force feeding. I think there's one guy in particular, and I spoke about him on the draft, and Dwayne gave me a hard time because I was like, Dwayne Hurts. So Wayne Hurts from the Mounties, he's a running back, 6 foot, 224, already averaging 7.5 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. He's in the top 3 currently. I think he's going to be one that'll push for some spotlight. But I think the one guy that, if you can get rolling with your quarterback, I think is going to be your Oliver Hoyle or Hal, or I don't know how you say that, but Roger and his crazy names. 11 receptions so far, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know he made my all-star cornerback look like silly on that one route where he just blew past him and he was just grasping for air. I think if you get things figured out for some combination routes with this guy, I think he'll be also up there. And then one other guy for offense, I think we'll have to talk about is probably going to be the guy from the Raiders, Pleasance. He's already got 9 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown. I think he bodes well to possibly be in the mix.
You already talked about Wayne Hurts. Bruce Allen is another guy, a running back that I think you're going to have to start paying attention to. And there was one other one here. I'm trying to find him really fast. Oh, Parker Holt, which made me chuckle because you have Parker Colt for the Patriots. He's pretty good. These wide receivers, you already named my guy Hoyle. I don't know. I change it every time I say it as well. But there's also the guy for the Raiders, and then there's also Orion Queen for the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens. He's already got 9 for 150. Looking at the defense, this one's going to be really, really tough to sort of give you some. And we lose Maniac in 5 minutes, so we may have to get to some of your other questions next week. We'll answer one more, and then we'll give one final thought and get everybody out of here. I'm trying to scan through the defense really quick. These deeper questions, you guys got to give us a bit more time than 15 minutes. I appreciate them. Nothing on tackle is sticking out. Sacks, you got any stack rookies?
Scooting through, I didn't see.
Oh, we got Cole Thornton for the Giants, so clearly he's a playmaker that's making plays for him. Everybody else is pretty established here. Look at INTs really fast.
Marshall from the Rams, I think he's going to be another one.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Two picks in
and the number one pick in the entire draft as well. So I think those are going to be all good ones. So that answers Bird. We'll do Lost, and then we'll do Nipples, because I doubt there's a real question there. Twinkie and Dwayne, we'll come back to yours next week. So Twinkie asked about imports, and he asked a question about college football. So we'll talk about both of those next week. And then Dwayne, which had the best offseason, we'll touch on that one. Not giving you credit for that one just because we already answered that, but we'll talk about which teams do we think could have done more. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about Lost, and we'll talk about Nipple. Lost says, your thoughts on quarterback imports, words, use them, and where they are in terms of contracts. I built Rusty Starr, a 90-plus quarterback. He will have 1 year left on his contract next cycle. Would you import a quarterback like him, knowing that his ask for a new contract may be ridiculous, like what happened in Miami with Hitchens, or get to work with Drake May? Not looking for advice, just thoughts on quarterback contracts and the balance of contract burden and having a good quarterback. In my opinion, it depends on the team that you're taking over. If you're taking over a team that's really, really good and they have a quarterback that you think can be built on a rookie quarterback, you go that direction. If you have a really, really good team and you're just a quarterback short and you don't have time to develop them because you're a little older, you're going to have contract issues later in the cycle, then maybe you bring over an import quarterback. If it is none of those, you got a bad situation, you have no cap, you have a bad team, then you can't bring over that fat contract. As Maniac and I had maybe some tough conversations through DM this past offseason, if you pay a quarterback, you're going to pay that price somewhere. That money's going somewhere. So you can be that team that pays the quarterback, and you check that box. Your most important position on the field is figured out, but you're going to have to put in those pieces other places at much cheaper contracts. Got to be able to do that. You got to be able to have that young talent. If you're not going to have that and you have an already established team, then you sort of have to figure that portion out. So in my opinion, it sort of depends on where you are. The Buccaneers proved that you can bring over an established quarterback, pay him lots of money, and build a team on the field every single season that's going to dominate. And you can see the teams that maybe didn't bring him, like me, that didn't bring his guy over with him, started from scratch, had an older roster, had no cap. And you can see I've just tried to rebuild this entire cycle. So you sort of have to see the team that you're taking over. I am up against that loss, and then I'll stop rambling. I have a quarterback. I could take him with me, but the Saints drafted a guy that I might be able to build, save the cap money, and go that direction. So I could see the dilemma. You just have to see what May gets rated and what's the rest of the team around May look like. Maniac, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I made a mistake. Yeah, it's really tough, like you said, because once you pay a quarterback, unless you know that you can save all your incentive stuff, like your contract incentive stuff, if you put in the effort to get gold incentive, or you're able to donate to the league to get extra perks, then I think you think about it. And I didn't think it through because I used all my perks ahead of time, and I used them for some aging old linemen and stuff. And if I would have saved back a couple of those for Parker Colt's situation, I'd have been sitting in a lot better situation this last season. So, and so again, like, you have to kind of think things through a little bit more, and that's something I didn't do. Obviously, I start this Madden off. I made the trade with Bronco Man to get Parker Colt, and it really helped my team for the first couple of seasons. And then I kind of fell out of love with Parker Colt, but I just felt like I couldn't let him go, and I couldn't let somebody like D Money or somebody like that pick him up and dominate. So I really felt like I needed to keep him and need to keep working with him and stuff. But again, you make that decision. You need to think it through, though, because once you're married to you're stuck. So that's my advice, or non-advice, or just my experience.
Twinkie, Dwayne, we'll do yours next week. I gotta let Maniac go because he's already late for his game. Nipple says a bunch of funny stuff in here. I love you, Nipples. Thank you for your funny stuff. But when will you be announcing the platinum import? Stop asking. I'm going to kill you. I will murder you. I will not decide that until the summer. It will be a June, July situation before I decide that. I'm leaning towards 80, 85. I forgot what exactly it was this year, but I'm trying to bump that up. So you guys are donating, right? I'm trying to make that worth your effort, but also trying to balance that. Good questions from Twinkie around more offensive or defensive imports next year, and how will the college game affect draft classes? I don't think we will know that, Twinkie, but we'll get to your first question next week. And then Dwayne, who could have done more this past offseason? We'll get to that, Dwayne. Maniac, one final thought, and then I got to get you out of here.
Great start to the season as far as the everybody being locked back in, except for like a couple teams that are taking vacations or whatever. I'm definitely looking forward to a great season. Just seeing how things unfold as we start wrapping things up from this Madden.
I've been having to pee for an hour, so I got to get out of here as well. Great start of the season. New FPR will be posted. We're cleaning up some things about shotgun runs that evidently I dropped the ball on. My bad, board. I'm doing my best over here. So lots of updates over the next couple of days, and maybe a big life announcement coming from me a little later by the time we have Press Pass live next week. Maniac, good luck in your game. Guys, good luck in your games. I love you. We'll see you in the next one. Remember, take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. Know that you matter. I love you, and we'll see you. Peace.
Deuces.
Smash that like and subscribe.